All right, so I'm going to address one of the biggest myths and pitfalls in all of coaching in general, but specifically I think it hits home with wrestling more. And the myth is that your wrestler will just figure it out. And if they don't, then they're never going to figure it out. And I know that as a coach, you've probably heard it for sure. Maybe you've said it. And if you have, you should probably look at yourself in the mirror and say, am I really the coach that I want to be? Because the reality is you are the coach, right? And as the coach, it's your job to get them to understand and then help them to achieve the goal. And if that means you have to take a guy or a girl or your athlete, whatever it is, and it takes 2 years instead of 2 months to get them to figure it out, then you take 2 years instead of the 2 months. And I know that's not always fun, and it's certainly frustrating. And it's more frustrating as the athlete than it is for the coach, because they're the ones out there competing, and they're the ones that are struggling, and they're the ones that are training, and it's hard for them. And then if the coach writes them off because they're not learning fast enough, that's a really frustrating and difficult thing to do. And so keep in mind that your coaching responsibility is to coach and help your athletes learn and grow, and there's no timeline on that, and there's no ceiling to that, and there's no bottom to that. And so that's one of the biggest problems that we see with wrestling and the turnover, is that you have a kid that's maybe new, they're not very good, or they struggle more than they're supposed to, and then the coach just says, well, they're never going to get it, or they'll just get it on their own, and so why do I have to put my energy in it? And if they get it great, and I'll spend my time over here with Billy, who is just really good already. That is not your job. Your job is to be with everyone, right? It's probably even more so your job to deal with the ones that aren't Billy and really good, and the ones that need your help the most, because that's what you do as a coach. That's your responsibility. And so don't take the easy road. And I get it. Sometimes it's really, really frustrating. We've all coached kids where it's like, hey, I don't know how many different ways I can tell you this, but you got to capture the information. But you tell them one more time. That's how you do it. And then one time, they're going to have a breakthrough. And when the breakthrough happens, that's where the jubilee comes, where you and the athlete celebrate together, and you see it over and over and over again, where coach and athlete embrace after a really significant victory, whether it's real or metaphorically, and that's why you coach. So don't forget that. That is the reason you do what you do, and that's why these kids do what they do as well, for those moments. And so don't write your athletes off. Bring them along, whether it's slow or fast. Do the job that you've been asked to do, and you'll be rewarded for it in lots of different ways. So go out and make those adjustments, and find that kid in your room that needs you the most.